early adopter training. So thanks for being an early adopter. Thanks for being willing to work with us through some of the kinks, even in the training sessions, as we learn how to do some of the broadcasting and the different communication things. And so we really appreciate your patience and are thankful that you are in this process with us and excited for what God is going to do as we move over to Google. Today, Alicia Pittman is going to be your trainer. She works with Cloud Sherpas, who's the incredible organization that has been shepherding us through this transition. And this is her 6th training in 2 days. So need a little bit of, audience to push her through. No, she's always great. So anyway, thanks so much for being here. And this will be recorded, hopefully, if it works again. And you can watch it again and again online if you kind of need some refresher. There's going to be lots of resources aside from this training that will help you get through. So she takes us through real fast, and so just know you'll have lots of opportunities other places. Yes?
Since she takes us through real fast, I haven't even gotten on the beginning line. I'm at Welcome to Chrome.
So, Felicity, I'll turn it over to you, and you can say your spiel about hands-on versus all. Thank you very much. All right, so we did ask for you to bring your laptop if you had your laptop, mobile devices, whatever it may be, and if you don't, some were provided for you, but this is not a traditional hands-on class. A traditional hands-on class, this class would be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, right? I would perform a task, ask you to perform a task. It's not that kind of class. I'm going to go through in 90 minutes a lot of the cool features that we have in your Google Mail account, and I will stop from time to time and ask you to click here and click there, but it's not going to be a hands-on where I will wait for you or come to your desk and look and see, well, what's wrong or why didn't you, do that like that, all right? So it's a participatory class, very much so, but it's not hands-on. With that said, how many of you already have personal Google accounts? Anybody? All right, excellent. Almost half of you already have Google Mail accounts, so that's great. Those of you that don't, not a problem at all, because we're all going to be learning lots of cool features. One of the things you'll find out is that when I get started showing you some of the features, you're going to be saying, I never knew that was in my Google Mail account. Absolutely, because I didn't use it like that. I send and I receive. Much more to Google Mail than sending and receiving. So we're going to start off by looking at things that are new and different in your Google Mail account. Things like conversation threads and how in your mail account you don't do any sorting. Everything we do in Google Mail is by search. We're going to start off with your inbox, look at cool features in your inbox like message sneak peek and stars. We'll look at search and filters. Compose mail, contact, task, chat, recommended labs, and at the very end of the training, we'll look at how you customize all of your personal features like out of office, signature, and mail delegation. At the end of the training, you'll know how to manage and organize your inbox. You'll also have a real good understanding of how Gmail handles conversation threads, and along the way, I will share with you shortcuts, tips, and best practices. Recommended labs. So Google has labs that you can add to your Google Mail account the same way you would add apps to your phone. So when we get started, I'm going to have you to enable a few of these labs along the way. The next thing, calendar. So the first hour is spent in mail. The last 30 minutes or so, we will jump into calendar and look at all of your calendar features. We'll look at calendar views. I'll show you 3 ways to create calendar events. I'll share with you best practices for managing your calendar tasks, recommended labs, and again, at the end of the training, we look at how you customize all of your personal settings. At the end of the training, you'll know how to manage and organize your calendar. You'll also be able to create any kind of calendar you desire. Personal calendar, team calendar, project calendar, you think of it, you'll be able to create it. And of course, I'll share with you everything I know, shortcuts, tips, and best practices. There's a list of recommended labs for calendar, and we'll take a look at those. And yes, it's okay if you don't remember everything, because There's a lot to cover, and we will point you to lots and lots of resources. All right? Yes?
For those of us that were at the Google Guides training, how much overlap is this with that?
Oh, yeah. If you were at the Google Guide training, this is going to be the short version. I had you all for, 4 hours, and this is 90 minutes. So they're going to get the end-user version of the training. You got the Google Guide. So a lot of this will be repeat, and of course,
Okay.
I can show a lot more in 4 hours than I can in 90
Okay.
minutes. Absolutely.
Just didn't know if there's anything shown here that was not shown at Google.
Oh, absolutely not. You got it all. It's the other way around.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into the training. What's really neat for those of you that are new to your Google Mail account is this. No matter where you are, as long as you have internet access, you'll always be able to access all of your Google apps, your mail, your calendar, etc. You just go into Google, put in your username, your password, and sign in. Those of you that have personal accounts, you'll say, that's what we do already. Now, the very first thing I want you to do, this is a follow-along, this portion is this. I want you to click right here. You see where it says Settings? In the upper right-hand corner, I want you to click on the drop-down where it says Settings. And then I want you to select Settings. And then I want you to select Labs. I'm going to have you to enable 3 labs right away. What are those 3 labs? The first lab is canned responses. Now, all the labs are in alphabetical order. So you just scroll down until you see C and enable canned responses. You just click right here. Don't worry, anything you enable, you can always come back and disable. You know how to get there. But I think you're going to like everything I'm pointing out. And then the other 2 are Message Sneak Peek and Preview Pane. Again, we're going to come back here later on in the session, and we're going to look at all the labs. But for the beginning, I just need you to enable those 3. Those were Canned Response, Message Sneak Peek, and Preview Pane. Remember, they're all in alphabetical order. Just click on Enable. After you click on Enable, you can scroll up, and then you can click on Save Changes. After you save your changes, you are right at the inbox. And then, the next thing I want you to do is this. I want you to go back to Settings one more time. Click on Settings. Click on Settings again. Select Settings. And this time, you can stay where you are. You're on the General tab, and that's where I want you. Just scroll down until you see stars. You see where it says stars? The only thing I want you to do is click right here on 4 stars. Again, we're going to come back to this and I'm going to talk more about it, but I just want you to click on 4 stars and then scroll down to the very bottom and select Save Changes.
One of those 3.
Okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go back to the inbox. Can you repeat what 3?
Yeah, I'm still finding the first one here.
Right. There's canned responses, Message Sneak Peek, and Preview Pane. And then after they're all in alphabetical order, so after you enable them, just click on, scroll all the way to the top, and where it says Save Changes, go ahead and click on Save Changes. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So the next thing I'm going to do, close this out. All right, so when you're looking at your mail account, you have 3 ways to quickly look at your mail without even opening it up. So the first way is with snippets. Snippets are just, as you see, a line of text next to each message, giving you a snippet about that message. Kind of grayed out here, these are snippets. A lot of times I'll just look at the snippet and get the full idea of what's going on in the message. Now, the second way for you to quickly look at your mail is with a message sneak peek. So that's one of the labs I had you to enable. So I just want you to select a message and right-click on it. When you right-click on a message, go ahead and do that. You see you get a sneak peek of that message. can just click and scroll through, and you're getting a sneak peek of that message. And then the third way for you to quickly look at your mail is with a preview pane. You see where I'm pointing? Click right there, next to settings, and you see you have a vertical split. Go ahead and click on vertical split. So you have a vertical split, so you can view your mail. And then go ahead and go back up, and you also have a horizontal split. And you can click, and you see you have a horizontal split. So these are some of the quick ways for you to view your mail. That was the snippet, the sneak peek, and your preview pane. So go back and just click on no split. So for the training, we're just going to train with no split. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do, yes, sir.
I'm gonna have questions, go really fast. My first class. What was the 4-star thing? I told you.
Right, what do I have to do, because we only do have 90 minutes, these are kind of nice to know, and like I said, it's not hands-on where I'm going to be able to stop every time, so maybe Stacy or Steve can you sit by him and
Well, and like we said, it might even just be helpful for you to just watch, if that's the most helpful. This will be online, you can watch it again and again, and pause her, and then go through and do it.
Nobody said that. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
All right. The next thing I want to talk about, conversation threads. Now, those of you looking at your Google Mail account for the first time, you're probably wondering about these numbers, 4, 5, 9, 10, and saying, what is all of this? Well, allow me to explain. Your new Crew Mail account is going to group all of the email messages together based on the replies. So we're looking at this message right here entitled Island Destinations. So when you see this message, we see that Brian is the originator of this message. And Brian sent this message to a number of people, including Laura and Lynn. There have been 9 replies going back and forth about Island Destinations. I've read all 9 email messages, as you see. That's why none of the names are bold and the subject isn't bold. If we look at this message right here, Spring Break 2013, we see that there have been 10 replies regarding this message. Now, Deborah is the originator of this message. And as you see, I've read Deborah's message. That's why her name is not bold. And I've read the messages between Deborah and James. But I haven't read James's message. That's why James's name is bold, nor have I read the messages after James. So there have been 10 conversations regarding spring break. Instead of having 10 email messages scattered throughout my inbox, all of the 10 messages regarding spring break in one place. Very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and open this message. Now when I open this message, you see right here the subject, spring break. Deborah is the originator of this message. Deborah kicked this message off on January the 2nd, and she sent it to a number of people, and quite a few people have replied. Now you see, everybody's message is in chronological order. So Fiona replied on the 2nd, James replied on the 2nd, and look, Whitney replied on the 3rd, and we continue to scroll down. Kane was the last person to reply on the 9th. So all the messages are in chronological order, and that order cannot be changed because you read conversation threads from top down the same way you would read a letter. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the 3 older messages. Messages that have already been read are automatically collapsed, and that's what we're looking at there. The messages that are expanded are the unread messages. So all the messages that are expanded are the unread messages. The other thing that's really neat is that even though 10 messages have been threaded together, look at this. Every message has its own reply menu. So I can select any of these messages and automatically reply. So if I just wanted to reply to Kane, I would click right here and reply to Kane. If I wanted to reply to Lynn, I'd reply to Lynn. Let's go ahead and reply to Lynn. When I click on reply, I have options. I can click on the drop down. I can reply just to Lynn, or I can do a reply to all. And just like in Outlook, reply to all is replying to all of the people that that person replied to. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to reply to everyone, you see right here? Everyone that Lynn replied to, I'm going to do a reply to all. If I wanted to add someone, you see there's a cursor there, right? So I could add Alex. I could add Alex. If I wanted to remove someone, I could remove Shell. So you can add, you can remove, just like you can in Outlook. So I'm going to type my message, and I'm going to say, you know what, guys, this is a great idea. Now, watch what happens when I click on send. When I click on send, my message is now part of this thread. You see that? Kane's message was originally the last message. Now my message is the last message. And when I go back to the inbox, we'll see that the number has changed to 11. The number was 10, now it's 11. It shows me as the last person to respond. And here's my snippet. Great idea. That's what I just typed. I'm going to open the message back up. This time we see 8 older messages. That's because all the messages have been read. There are no unread messages in this conversation thread. Now I can click right here, and I get a snapshot of all the messages. Very nice. One of the other reasons I like conversation threads is not only do I not have 11 messages scattered throughout my inbox, but how many times has this happened to you? Let's say you go on vacation or you've been busy, haven't had a chance to catch up on your email messages. And here's the topic, and everybody's talking about spring break. Well, you may have only read Fiona's message, and you go ahead and reply. You reply prematurely, right? Because you haven't read what everybody else had to say, all right? That doesn't happen with conversation threads. With conversation threads, before you put in your 2 cents, you've been able to read what everybody else had to say. That's really nice. Another thing is this. If I only wanted to forward Shell's message, I would click right here, and only Shell's message would forward. If I only want to print Shell's message, I click right here, and only Shell's message would print. But if I wanted to print all the messages, I would click right here to print all. And if I wanted to forward all the messages, I would click right here to forward all. So here's the point that I'm making. The menu options on the outside, they pertain to all of the messages. But the menu option inside the message is just for that message. Does that make sense? So what questions do you have for me about conversation threads? Yes, sir.
Glad you asked.
Yes.
I often will take a group of these messages and I want to forward to somebody that hasn't been part of the conversation. But I do a little bit of editing sometimes because often there's people in there and their comments may or may not be too pertinent to really where the discussion needs to go. So what I do now is, of course, you got everything all together, and I sometimes use Word and I pull out pieces and then I move the rest of it forward. Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. So let's do this. I'm going to go up here to more, and I'm going to click on forward all. So let's say a couple of these messages, like you said, not appropriate. They're kind of off topic, so I don't need to forward it. So what I'm going to do, Google does this beautifully. All the forwarded conversations are right here in chronological order. So what if, let's see, what if James said something that had nothing to do with this conversation? All I have to do is highlight from James, scroll all the way down until I get to his signature, and delete it.
Okay, that's fine.
Just like you do now.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you can always go in and edit anything you desire. So if somebody's off topic, running off, and not sticking with the program, you can always delete that. Absolutely.
Okay.
When I click on discard. Any other questions about conversation threads? Yes, sir.
I don't see any of the stuff that you have at the top there.
Oh, you're not going to see this. This is my inbox, so you're not going to see
No,
this.
I'm not talking about the messages. I'm talking about the menu items that you.
Oh, okay, so let me go inside of, so you're not seeing any of the menus?
So once I go into a message, I'll see all that?
Right, yeah. Yes,
So when you deleted one out of it, I noticed things were numbered, so it shows that the numbering is
no,
gone?
let me show you this. What this was doing, the numbers only have to do with the fact that they were numbering things in their conversation. Right, Google doesn't number it, they did that.
Right, okay.
Right, so Cheryl said number 1 is Amelia Island. It says, what are the 10 best spring breaks? And they're numbering them off. Right, absolutely. Good catch, though.
Yeah.
Nobody else has ever said anything about that. Yeah, but this is just their conversation. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that the conversations were numbered as they were being forwarded.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, we will give you a little bonus prize. Yes, sir.
Question, we support our staff using a civo.itg as a ticket, as the same name every time. If you turn on a conversation, all group of different people, is there anything you can do?
Excellent question. So, this comes up a lot. When you're working with a help desk and you have tickets and they always have the same subject, it's a hit or miss. Let me explain what I mean by that. For instance, you see right here, I have 2 email messages with the same topic. This message is travel to Italy, right? You see that? This message is also travel to Italy, right? These are 2 separate messages, even though they have the same subject. Fiona is the originator of this one. She sent it to a different group of people. Brian is the originator of this one. He sent it to a different group of people. So when you have email messages started by different people being sent to, some of the different people, those are 2 separate messages. But if you have messages that are from like a help desk and you have the same subject all the time, there is a possibility that they could get threaded together. Okay? Some people like it, some people don't. Some people like that it does, some people don't. If that becomes a problem, you can turn it off, and I'll show you how you can turn it off.
We did turn it off.
Okay.
Because of that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the whole purpose, we don't have the selection for.
Oh, right, you don't have
Either
a whole selection
Nope.
for everything else, right. Yeah, but you can see, traditionally, you can have different topics like travel to Italy, and, some of the same repeating topics, as long as it's going to, it's different originators, different people. But yeah, with help desk, we found that to be, yeah. Sorry.
That's answered my question. Thank you.
All right, now, the next thing we're going to do, is that all the, great, yeah, that's it. All right, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you 3 ways to manage your mail, all right? The first way is with those stars. So you notice that you have these grayed out stars. Now, when you click on a star, you have a gold star, right? Everybody gets a gold star. If you continue to click, take the second star and watch. When I continue to click, they change. You see that? And you just click until you get the one that you want. Now, let me share with you how I use these stars to manage my mail. So in Outlook, you have flags. In your Google Mail account, you have stars. So, I put a green check mark next to anything that has to be done today. I use the red exclamation point for priority items, anything that's hot. It may not get accomplished today, but it lets me know it's important. I put an I next to those things that are just for my information, and the one I use the most, the question mark. I put a question mark next to email messages that I'm waiting for answers to or have questions about before I can move on. Now, you can ascribe whatever meaning you want to these. I'm just throwing out some ideas. Anything you start will be right here in the start system label. So stars are one of the ways for you to manage your mail. Now, another way for you to manage your mail is important markers. Now, you'll notice that Google automatically places important markers next to some of your messages. If Google marks something important and it's not, all you have to do, you see what I'm doing, is deselect. You select and you deselect what's important to you. Anything you deem to be important will be right here in the important system label. And then the third way for you to manage your mail is with labels. So in Outlook, you have folders. In Google Mail, your crew mail, you will have labels. So let me show you some of the differences and similarities. So right now, in the world of Outlook, we could take this message from Family Vacation Credit about resorts. Click and drag. You see we can click and drag and your Google Mail account, just like you could in Outlook, click and drag and move it to family. But it also would make sense for this to go under resorts because it's talking about both resort and family, and it's also a great deal. But too bad. In your Outlook account, it can only go in one place. Not so with your Google Mail account. Watch this. I'm going to select this message, click on labels, and watch. I'm going to select deal, I'm going to select family, and I'm going to select resort. I've applied 3 labels to this message. Now, this message has not been duplicated. It's still one message that I can view from deal, I can view it from family, and I can view it from resort. Plus, you see that? It also has the inbox label, so it means I also can view it from the inbox. One message, 4 labels. So I'm going to go back to the inbox. The next thing I'm going to do is select a message and create a brand new label. So I go back to labels, I click on create new, and I'm going to create a brand new label. So this label is going to be called crew. Click on create, and there you have it. Wasn't that easy? Now, here's my crew label. I'm going to click on the drop down. Look at the things I can do with this label. I can give this label a color. I can also give this label a custom color. Other things that I can do with this label, I can decide to show or hide this label in the label list. You see right here, this is the label list. I can also show or hide the label from the message list. Now, I'm going to hide this label from the label list. How many of you have 100 or more folders? Nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. So, some people have hundreds of folders. Now, all of your folders are going to become labels. The point is this. I'm sure you don't want to see hundreds right here. I actually had a client that had 400 labels. Yeah. So, and he didn't want to see 400 right here either. So, Google gives you an opportunity to hide. So, you see what I'm doing? I'm just going to click on hide, and there it is. I'm just hiding it from my view. When I click on more, and I scroll down, here are all the labels that I've hidden from my view. There's crew. Click on the drop down. Click on show, and there it is. So showing and hiding labels is all about preferences, and you can show and hide as many as you desire. Now, I do want you to follow along with me on this one. You see where it says more. Go ahead and click on more. And then, after you click on more, I want you to click right here on Manage Labels. When you click on Manage Labels, you see that there are 2 sets of labels. The first set of labels are your system labels. And any system label can be hidden except for the inbox. Now, Google has hidden 4 of your labels, and I'd like for you to click on Show. So you want to show chat, and you can always do this on Monday when you migrate for your actual working environment. And you also want to show all mail, you want to show spam, and you want to show trash. It's really important that you show those, all right? So you want to show chat, all mail, spam, and trash. Now, the second set of labels, these are the labels that we created, like we created crew. Now, we see our label crew that we created, right? As soon as we click inside that label, or any label, you see what happens? It places that label in the edit mode. So if I wanted to make it lowercase, or if I wanted to change the spelling or change the name, I could do so right here. Another thing that I can do with my crew label, I'm gonna click on the drop down, is that I can add a sub-label. Watch this, it's really easy. So I'm gonna give it a sub-label called Client A, click on Create, and now, under crew is my sub-label called Client A. Watch this, I'm going to create a sub-label, so I'm gonna give Client A a label, and call this one Client AA, click on Create, and there you have it. Here's my label, my sub-label, and my sub-label. All right? Excellent. Now, another thing I want to show you is this. You see my label right here entitled Tourist? It's the very last label in my list, right? So what if I said, you know, Tourist is a label that I use a lot, and I want that label to come to the top. Let me show you how you can manipulate. So all of your labels are in alphabetical order, as you see. But if I want Tourist to be the first label, all I have to do is put a character in front of that label, a character or a number. And watch what happens. It will automatically move my label to the very top. So now Tourist is the first label in my list instead of the last label. Another thing, I'd like for you to, you see right here where it says Show and Label List, click on the drop down. When you migrate, whether you have 20 labels or 400 labels, I recommend that you select Hide All. Hide all 200 labels, then come back and click on Show, and just show the labels that you're actually using on a daily basis. Again, it's just a recommendation. If you want to show your 400 labels, then you show your 400 labels, right? All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go back to the inbox, and I want to show you this. You understand that I can take this message from Cruise Critic, click and drag, and move it to Cruise. That's easy. That's the same thing you can do in Outlook. But how about this? I'm going to take the label Cruise, click and drag, and move it to a message. You see that? It works both ways. That's right. You can take any message and move it to a label, and any label and move it to a message. Now, the next thing we're going to do is clean up our inbox. And some of you may say, I don't clean up my inbox. What is that? Yes, sir.
Just real quickie, so if you get like a lot of mail from your boss, would it be an idea to create a label that's connected to a person? Or is there another easier way just to find out all the emails that a person sent you?
I'm going to show you a couple of ways because it's about preferences, but you're absolutely right. I'll show you how to create a filter, and you can have mail from your boss going directly to the label, or we can do it via search. So I'm going to show you lots of ways to do it, and then the choice will be all up to you. All right, now, what I want to do now is talk about cleaning up your inbox, whether you've ever done it before in your life or not, all right? So, I want you to select the first two messages in your inbox. Just the first two, doesn't matter. You're not going to harm anything, all right? Select the first two messages. And then what I want you to do is click right here on All Mail. Now, when you select All Mail, those two messages that you selected are where? In All Mail, right? They're in your inbox, and the message is also in All Mail. So look, when I'm in my inbox, the two messages are selected. When I go to All Mail, the two messages are selected. The fastest way to clean up your inbox is not to delete. That's what someone said in the class yesterday. Not to delete, but to archive. Now, I'm going to hover right here. You see where I'm hovering? Where it says archive. Let me explain archive before we click on it. So archive in your Google Mail account is completely different from archiving in any other email system. Nothing goes on your hard drive. We're still in the cloud, still in the browser. When I say I'm going to archive these messages, it simply means I'm going to remove the inbox label. That's all archive does. Watch this. Archive simply removes the inbox label. So right now, these two messages are in the inbox. But when I click on archive, the inbox label is going to be removed. There it is. When I go back to the inbox, the messages are not there. No mystery, really simple. Archive just removes the inbox label. So this means what? Here's your first pop quiz. I send you an email. That email that I send you is in two places. What two places is that email in?
Inbox and all mail.
Very good. This man gets the prize. Absolutely. It's in your inbox and all mail. So anytime you receive email messages, they will automatically be in two places. All mail is all of your mail. It's everything except spam and trash. Now, in your Outlook account, you currently don't even have 1 gig of space. In your Outlook account, you have less than a gig, but in your Google Mail account, you have 25 gigabytes of space. So you're going from having not even 1 to 25. So you no longer have to be trigger happy, all right? You don't have to quickly delete messages out of your inbox. So now when messages come into your inbox, you have some options. You don't have to label it. You don't have to delete it, and you certainly don't have to leave it in your inbox. Now you can just click on archive. You didn't have that option before. So that's why people had to create lots and lots of folders in Outlook, because the message had to go somewhere. It either had to go in a folder, or you would delete it, or you would leave it in your inbox. Now you can click on archive, and as you see, most of my mail, no labels. I just go ahead and click on archive. 25 gigabytes of space. That's a lot of space. So don't be in a hurry to delete things anymore. What I tell users when they first get started working in your Google Mail account, wait maybe about 3 months before you start deleting, because I want you to understand how conversation threads work. All right? And what do I mean by that? Let me show you. So I'm going to take this message right here from TripAdvisor that came in at 3:15 today. Now this message has 3 labels, crude deals in Europe, right? I'm going to click right here on the trash icon and delete. And it says, moving conversations from all mail to trash will remove them from all views. So when I click on OK, there it goes. That message is no longer in all mail, it's now in the trash. So when I click on the trash, behold, it's there. But how about that? The labels are showing. Now, this is the trick question. Is this message in those 3 labels? That's right. People don't want to say it out loud, but you're the ones shaking your head. No, you're right. Absolutely. Now, it appears that it would be, but it's not. Watch this. When I click on crude deals in Europe, you'll see this message that came in at 3:15 from TripAdvisor is not in any of these labels. Watch. It's not in crude, it's not in deals, and it's not in Europe. So where's the message? Trash, absolutely. The message is in the trash. So now inquiry minds want to know, why are the labels attached? Is that to trip you up? Absolutely not.
Because if you move it back, then they go back and those,
Look
right?
at that. That's the first time. This is the very first time.
Come on.
Very nice. Very nice.
What did he say?
So, what he said, was, because if you want to restore it, you won't remember where to restore it to, and he's absolutely right. That's why Google leaves the labels. You see right here, it says messages that have been in trash more than 30 days will automatically be deleted. So all you have to do is select the message and click on Move to and restore it. And how about this? I'm going to restore this message to, let's see, I'm going to restore it to car rental. So it was never in car rental, but watch. I'm going to move it to car rental to demonstrate this. I moved it to car rental, but it's restored to cruise, it's restored to deals, and it's restored to Europe. Because there's only 1 copy of a message. Yeah, messages are not duplicated. So, if you have a message, and you have 10 labels applied to that message, it's deleted from how many places? 10, absolutely. It's deleted from all 10 places. Remember, messages are not duplicated. There's only one copy of a message. So no matter how many labels you have on a message, when you delete that message, it's deleted from all labels. If you restore it, it's restored back to all labels. Any questions about anything I've just done? Okay, that was the easy one. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is talk about finding things. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do a search. The first way to do a search is a simple search. So I'm going to type the name David in the search bar, and Google, this answers your question. So you were saying, all right, so let's say David was my boss, and I just needed to get something from David. One thing I could do is click right here, do a search, and it pulls up all David. Of course, Google is known for its search engine, so it's pretty powerful. It searches uppercase, lowercase, body, subject, and attachment. And if you look at the bottom, it says deleted messages match your search. So it also searches the trash. I can pare this down by throwing in an operator. Lots of Davids in my office. So I can say from David. So this is an operator. An operator is from, to, subject, anything like that. And I could select from which David. And there it goes. So we went from having lots to having just one, from 100 to 1. Another way to search is to search from a label. So some of you are going to be big label users, right? So you can click on that label appears in the search bar. Google says, I have 47 email messages in this label. I don't want to search through 47, so I type the word pass as in family pass. I'm trying to pare this down. Click on the search bar, and we go from 47 to 3. Another way to do a search. Now, I want you to follow along with me this time. Click right here where it says search options. Go ahead and click on that. Here are all of your search options right here. You can click right here on all mail, and you can search mail, spam, and trash, which means you'll get everything. You can search everything that's read from David, everything that's unread from David, and in all of your custom labels. Plus, you can do a search from, to, subject, has the word, doesn't have, has an attachment, and you can even search within a time frame. Plus, you'll also be able to do this. You see right here where it says settings? Go ahead and click on the drop down. And then click on help. All right? And then after you click on help, type advanced search. You see right here? Type advanced search. And then select the search. And then you can click on using advanced search. So if you have questions about how many different ways can I do a search? Plenty. Lots of different ways. You see that? Here are all of your operators. You can search from, to, subject, just like you saw before, but you can also search for a file name using quotes and brackets. You can search everything based on your star. You can search for things by size. And you can also search with and without labels. You see that? Anyway, I just wanted you to come here so that you can see there's hardly anything that's in your Google account that you will not be able to find. All right? Now, the next thing I want to do is to go to compose mail. Really very easy. If you've composed a mail in any email system, you can do it right here. The neatest feature for composed mail is this ad. You see that? With this ad, Google remembers the groups of people that you send email messages to. This is not a group, or it doesn't take the place of a distribution list, but Google says, hey, you know what? When you send messages to Lisa and Lynn and Nicholas, you usually include Sydney and Brian. So it's like a memory jogger. So I can click right here and add Sydney, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I want to add Fiona. So it's pretty cool. Other features include this. I'm going to type, and if you misspell a word, you have a red underline. So in your Google Mail account, You have a visual notification if you misspell a word. If you misspell something, you right-click, you can select the correct word, you can add it to the dictionary, or you can ask for suggestions. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the correct word. Other things you have, under your formatting, if you hover over that A, you see you have formatting options. And I click right here, and I have all of my formatting options. Now, if you're looking at Compose, you're saying, her Compose looks different from mine. I have the new Compose, and you might see a link right here. You see one waving? You might have a link right here that says, do you want to try the new Compose? Of course you want to try the new Compose. So you should go ahead and click and try the new Compose, and it'll look just like this. Other features include the ability to attach files. Just like you could attach files in your Outlook account, you can select files to attach right here, and the files will be attached. And again, you can attach files up to 25 megabytes, and you can click on the X to remove something. So if I attach the wrong file, all I have to do is click on X, and it's removed. Another cool feature is the ability to attach files using your Google Drive. You can also insert photos, you can insert a link. Emoticons are coming soon, and you can also insert an invitation. Something else that's pretty neat is that every time you are typing an email message, Google automatically saves everything that you're working on. So if the electricity goes out, not a problem. All your work is still saved because Google is automatically saving. And then you have lots of ways to do other things under more options. You have canned responses. Did anybody in here create stationery in Outlook? Anybody create? Yeah, okay. Some people did. Great. I'm going to show you in your Google Mail account, it's canned responses. You also can check spelling. Again, I can click right here and check spelling. And when I click on the drop down, how about this? I can check spelling in different languages. Click on the X, and we're done there. Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to show you canned responses. So canned response can be anything you desire it to be. It can be a form letter, a paragraph, a sentence, or just a word. When you're creating a canned response, all you have to do, a canned response is one of those labs I had you to enable. You want to delete everything that's on the page. You start with a blank canvas. So here's my canned response. So let's say we're project managers. And the project that we're responsible for has a problem.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
We know there's a problem there. Don't call.
Ooh, I'm taking that one.
We'll call you.
All right, so here's our canned response. We are aware of the problem and are working on it. Thank you for your patience. So we don't want to have to type this 500 times. So what we're going to do is can it. So this is what we do. We go back to more options. We select canned responses, and we select new canned response. And then we give it a title. We call it Aware. Then we click on OK. I'm going to close it out. So when messages start to come in telling us about the problem, all we have to do is to go under our canned response and insert the one we just created called Aware. Ta-da! So we don't have to type this 400 times. But there's more. I'm going to show you how you can automate this. Watch this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to our search options. And I'm going to say anytime we get an email message and it has the word problem, I'm going to click right here and create a filter. That's right. I'm going to create a filter. And if we get an email message and it has the word problem, We can have it skip the inbox. We could mark it as read. We could star it. We could apply a label. So we could have it go to the crew label. We could forward it, delete it, never send it to spam. We can send the canned response we just created called aware. Always mark it as important and never mark it as important. Again, if you created rules in your Outlook account, your Google Mail has filters. So we're saying that we can manage our mail. So if you wanted mail from a particular person to always be marked as important, to always be starred, or to go to directly to a label, you can do that. We're going to go ahead and click on Create Filter. We're just filtering our mail, managing our mail. So let's look at the filter we just created. I go to Settings, I click on Filters, and here we have it. Anytime we get an email and it has the word problem, it's going to skip the inbox, go to the crew label, and send the recipient the canned response letting them know we are aware. Very nice, right? When the problem is resolved, we can edit, we can delete, and we can create as many filters as we desire. Now here's another pop question. So, if I have messages skip the inbox and go directly to a label, how will I know that I have new messages?
Label will be bold.
Absolutely. The label will be bold, and there will be a number in parentheses letting us know how many unread messages we have. Absolutely. So you can have messages skip the inbox all year long, and you'll always know that you have new messages because the number will be right there and the label will be bold. Yes, ma'am.
I have rules set up where I never have anything in my inbox except for voicemail messages because they have to be there. And so, I think that's the question I was going to ask. I have significantly used the view and search views so that I just see today's. It's sorted out by the folders. So,
Have fun.
yeah. That kind of view is really wonderful in Outlook. Does Google do anything like that?
I'm going to show you some of the different views that Google has, and you can see if any of these will work for you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I use out of the office a lot on phone. Is that when you use the camera?
No. You can use it for out of the office, but we have a formal out of the office, absolutely.
Because you don't want the time frame.
Exactly. You don't have a time frame, but if you wanted somebody to get a particular message, while you were out, you could use that, but that's not what it's for.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, let me show you this right quick. So, we went under labs, and I'm just going to quickly, the labs that we recommend are on the website, because it's about 4:30, and I do have a hard stop at 5, because I have to catch a plane. So, and I have to get the calendar, too. We haven't even gotten the calendar. So, I'm going to just say, there are some cool labs here. The list is on your website, so we want you to take a look at those. The General tab is where you customize. So some of the things you would do with the General tab, conversation view can be turned on and off, and you also have this cool lab called Undo Send. Undo Send, of course, you want to enable that. It's going to default to 10 seconds, but you have up to 30 seconds to stop a message from being sent once you click on send. And don't worry about attachment. You don't have to stop a message, because what will happen if you send a message and you say, please see attach, and you don't do the attach, it's automatically going to pop up and say, hey, did you mean to send an attach? So that's going to happen automatically. Those stars. Now, I had you to click on 4 stars. All the stars are here, all 12 stars. You decide what you want. You see what I'm doing? If you want the question mark first, click and drag. If you don't want to make but 3 clicks, you move all the other stars out of the way, because every star is a click, all right? Now, you have your desktop notifications. You want to turn those on. Your signature is right here, and crew is pushing out a signature, and vacation responder is the same as out of office. Again, all of this is under the General tab. You want to come here and you want to customize. The inbox, lots of different inbox features. So, If you want to organize your mail, you can click right here under inbox type, and you see Google has given you 5 different types of inboxes. So I'm going to go to Sydney's account and show you one of the types. Priority inbox is one of those types. So priority inbox gives you 4 different sections. Everything that's important and unread is in the first section. Everything that's important is in the second, everything unread, and everything else. You can arrange this any way you desire. You just go under settings, everything's under settings, all right? And then you click on inbox, you click on priority inbox, and you see you have 4 sections. You decide what you want those 4 sections to be. And then, I'm going to go back. Another thing, you have important first, unread first, and starred first. So these are the 5 different types of inboxes you have automatically. Another inbox that you have is multiple inboxes. Multiple inboxes is a lab. So, if you wanted everything from Brian to have its own pane, you could do so. If you wanted everything from Felicia to have its own pane. So all of Sydney's mail comes right here. It's called multiple inboxes, but the name is deceiving. It's just one inbox. It's still just Sydney's inbox. But she has a filter created. And anything from any person, from her, you see that? Her green check mark, anything from her label news. Multiple inboxes is a lab. You go under lab, you enable multiple inboxes, then you come under settings, you click on multiple inboxes, and remember that the search operators that I showed you, you see, that's all this is. From Felicia, from Brian, has green check, that's all it is. It's just a search query, and it's just another way for you to manage your mail. So these are the ways in which you can manage your mail with your Google Mail account. You have multiple inboxes, and it takes the classic view, and you have all types of inboxes right here. All right? Now, the next thing we're going to take a quick look at is accounts. So, first of all, is there anybody in here who will share their mail account with someone else? No one's doing that. Good. So we're going to move right along. Was there someone? Oh,
I share my boxes.
Okay, let me show you what you do. You go under account, and Stacey's gonna have a special class for you too, to get into more detail. But you go under account, and you click on add another account. Now, when you share your account with someone else, they will be able to read, delete, and send mail on your behalf, and it's all or nothing. You can't say, well, I want them reading, but they can't delete. No. Once you share your account, they can do all 3. Now, that person is going to receive an email, and they'll be able to accept or decline. And it will say pending right here until they accept. So you can share your account with someone for 10 minutes or 10 years. You know, it's up to you. You can always come back and delete. But this is what's important. Once someone has shared their account with you, you click on the drop down, you see what I'm doing, next to your name, and there you see it. So I'm a delegate with Steve and Asher. They have both given me access to their mail account. So I can send mail on behalf of Steve, and I can send mail on behalf of Asher. Now, if I do so, everybody will know, because it will say sent on behalf of. So nobody can be a saboteur. Everybody will know that it was sent on behalf of. So that's what you would do. Excellent. Now, the next thing is chat. Chat is instant messaging. And it's really cool. I asked you to enable your chat history, so you'll see your chat label right here. All of your history is saved right there. When you're ready to start chatting with someone, you just simply select the person you want to start a chat with. You can do a text chat. You can do a Google Hangout, which is really cool. You can also do a voice calling, so you can do a voice chat. You can also do a group chat, so you can invite people to the chat. And under more, you can go off the record. And that just simply means your chat history will not be saved. And the other person will see that it's not saved too, all right? So it's not,
Is it really off the record?
yeah, it's off the record. It's really off the record, right. It's not going to be saved, right, if you click on that. All right. Also, you can set your status as available, busy, and invisible. I go invisible because a lot of times when I use my custom message, do not disturb, people ignore it. So since they ignore my do not disturb message, I just go invisible. So you have lots of options right there when you're working in your chat. And then if you need to work offline, all you have to do is go to Chrome. There's a Chrome store. You'll go there and you will select Gmail offline, and then once you select that and enable it, you'll just set it up while you're still online, and when you're offline, it will be available for you. And then your themes, whatever you want, whatever strikes you for the moment, all right? You can set up any of these things. I just want to tell you this. Some of the things will change based on the time of day and based on the weather. So if it's cloudy outside, your theme might get dark. So don't call it help desk. Look outside and see what's going on with the weather first, all right? And then the next thing we're going to talk about are contacts. So all of your contacts are coming over when you migrate. And in your Google Mail account, you have 3 sets of contacts. You have My Contacts, which synchronize with your mobile device. You have Most Contacted, which are the 20 people you contact the most. And then you have Other Contacts, which is everybody else. You also have the corporate directory. So everybody at Crew is going to be listed in the directory. And you have the ability to create your own special group. So if you just want to create a personal group, you can do so. So I can create a group called the Crew 18. Click on OK.
Will our groups come over with the My Contacts part?
Your personal groups will not come over, but all the corporate groups will come over. Absolutely. So if you had a personal group that wasn't shared with the corporate, this is the easy way to do it. You just click on New Group, select it, and you have a couple of ways to add the people. One way, a fast way, is just to click right here, do a cut and paste of all the names. Or you can just type the names of the people and just select, just like this. And then when you finish, you click on Add. Another way to add to your group is just to select the people Okay. Owner of this invitation. Even though I'm not. When you're free, they know when you're busy. But if you want people to see more than free and busy, you have a couple of options. You can have everybody to see all event details. And if that doesn't work and you only want certain people to see all event details, all you have to do is type the names of the people you want to share your calendar with. And there are three additional permission settings. Make changes and manage sharing, which means Lisa will have the same rights to my calendar that I do. The other is make changes to events. Lynn will have the second highest, and Nicholas see all event details. So these are all the 4 permission settings right here. When you finish, you click on save and you've successfully shared your calendar. The next thing I want to talk about with your calendar, reminders and notifications. You want to make sure your default reminders are set up. You can receive reminders via pop-up or an email, and you can get reminders minutes, hours, days, or weeks in advance, and you can add up to 5 reminders. So whatever it takes for you to be there on time. If you need 5 reminders, then you need 5 reminders. All right. Now, you also want to choose how you'd like to be notified about new, changed, and canceled events and event responses. You really want to make sure all of this is checked for email. And if you want to receive your agenda every day at 5 a.m. via email, you eager beavers, then you can do so. All right? And when you finish setting up your reminders and notifications, you click on Save and go back to Calendar. And remember, I was telling you, you can create any kind of calendar you desire. Well, if you click right here on Create New Calendar, you can create a new calendar, a team, a personal, whatever kind of calendar you desire, you can create it right there. I'm just going to click on Cancel. Easy. Now, other calendars. These are the calendars of others. So if you wanted to get access to other members of your team, you could do so. Any calendar you want, you type it here. Now, the reason Brian and James's calendar are on is because they've given me permission to make changes. So if you have a manager and you need to make changes to his or her calendar, you need to make sure their calendars appear right here. They need to give you permission, greater permission, so that the calendars will appear under my calendars. The calendars under other calendars are calendars I can only view. I can't make any changes. So watch this. If I click inside of a date and I click on the drop down, you see I can put an event on my calendar, Brian's, and James, and my travel calendar, but not on Fiona's and not on Sydney's because I do not have the access to do that. Then you have your labs and the list of labs, the first 7, the last 3. That's what we recommend. First 7, last 3. And then we have the general tab, really important to come here and customize. One thing that I really like, let me go back to, you see this? I have Pacific and Eastern time zones because some of my coworkers are in the Pacific time zone, so to make sure I don't schedule a meeting too early for them, I like to have this side by side. And so when you go to settings, you get to see 2 time zones. You only have 2, but that's great. You have Eastern, and you can choose, you can choose whatever you want. You want to come through here and select everything according to your own preferences. Now, you choose your default view, your custom view, put in your location. This is really cool. Put in your location so you can show the weather on your calendar. You can put in your zip code, and then you can show Celsius or Fahrenheit. Now, 2 things Google has done. Under Show Events You've Declined and Automatically Add Invitations to My Calendar, Google has set both of these to yes. You can decide what you want that to be. So what this means is on Monday, if I send you an invitation, that invitation is automatically going to be placed on your calendar. If you say no, that invitation will still be on your calendar with the strike through. That might work for you. One of my coworkers, she likes that. It doesn't matter. It's just about, does that work for you? And you have an option to say yes or no. So make sure you come to settings and select all of your preferences. After you do that, we go back to the calendar. I'm going to go to the month view. I'm going to display only my calendar and then show you some cool features. So some of the labs that we enabled are right here, like the world clock. You work with people in lots of time zones. You don't have to guess anymore what time zone it is in other countries. It's all right here. You have the event flare. When I select the dinner with friends, I click on the drop down, and I'm going to select the knife and fork icon, and there you have it. Knife and fork icon next to my dinner with friends. Yeah, I think that's cute too. You have the year view, jump to date, next meeting. And right here where it says other calendars, if you click on the drop down, you can browse interesting calendars. So you have the holidays of other countries. Sports fans, you have sports calendars. So you can click, right now it is basketball season, and you can click on the NBA, and you can select your favorite team. Keep up with their scores when they're playing, etc. And of course, there's always more. Lots of other information for you on your calendars. And then go back to calendars, and that's it. The last thing I just want to share with you is People Widget. So you see right here where you have a People Widget. What is this about? So when we were in that email about spring break, the People Widget lists everybody that's in that conversation. If I click on 6 more, you see all the people are listed. How does this benefit you? I'm glad you asked. I can click right here, and I can start a group chat. So I can do a group chat with everybody that was part of this conversation. I could click right here and email everybody that was part of this conversation. And I could click right here and send a meeting invite to everyone that was part of this conversation. So that's what's so cool about your People Widget. And if you only wanted to communicate with one person, I could just click on Sydney and do the same thing with her. And I could click on Show Details and see immediately all the recent email messages that Sydney and I had together. And then the other thing too, last but not least, Boomerang. So what is Boomerang? So one of the things that you'll have an opportunity to do is to go shopping at the Chrome store. All right, at the Chrome store, there's a feature called Boomerang. Boomerang will allow you to send later. Watch this. When I click on send later,
I can send an email later. So you can create an email at 10 p.m. and have it be sent at 8 a.m. the next day or any other time that you want. I like that. You can go on vacation and have lots of emails being sent while you're away. And it's like, oh, she's so dedicated. Now, the other thing, too, that you have right here is you have the ability to boomerang a message. What does this mean? This is, for instance, I send you an email message. If I don't hear from you in a certain time period, whatever I decide, maybe if I don't hear from you in 4 days, then what I'll do is I'll boomerang this message. And I'll say, if I don't hear from Stacy in 4 days, come back to me. So what will happen is I'm sending Stacy an email message. I boomerang it. If I don't hear from her in 4 days, the email message comes back to my inbox with the boomerang label. And I'll know, oh, that's right. I need to follow up with Stacy. So boomerang is another cool feature. And again, all you have to do, go ahead and click on a tab. And when you click on one of the tabs, you'll see that at the bottom of that tab, you see the web store. So you click on the web store. And this is the Chrome store. So you have to be in Chrome. And then you just type boomer. And as soon as you start to type boomerang, you see that? You click on boomerang for Gmail. It's an extension. So then you'll need to click on extension. And there it is, boomerang for Gmail. Yours will look like this, add to Chrome. But I've already added mine to Chrome. You'll be tempted to add the calendar. Don't. I didn't like it. It was just too busy, too much information. It was annoying. But I really do like boomerang for Gmail. I actually have no time now, but I do want to tell you this last thing, and I'm not going to be able to answer the question, but I think you want to know this. You can mute a message. What do I mean? You can select a message, click on more, and you can mute it. What is this about? So let's say someone does a reply to all. We don't do reply to all here. No, someone does a reply to all, and you have nothing to do with that, with what's going on. She's like, yes, all the time. So if you delete the message will continue to return to your inbox every time somebody else replies, right? But if you mute it, you'll never see it again. It will be in your all mail with a label called muted. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, she's the one. She knows it all. She's had to sit through all 6 classes.
And 3 days last week.
And 3 days last week.
I'm excited. I loved it.
Let's please go more. I'm so sorry I have to run. But the last time, I almost missed my plane. I know.
I almost made her miss her plane last night.
It's been so much fun.
I know.
I will talk to you, or I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying if we could all talk tomorrow.
Oh, good. Okay. Yay. Okay. So, do you guys have any questions?
Yes.
You could not reply to all, and then all of a sudden the next day, it was, yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that you get some vote on what Google does.
We don't have any sort of special powers this way. So, but
Every once in a while, some company allows you to say, what is it?
yeah, if you go onto Google's website, you can vote on things. So you as an individual would have more. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Any other questions?
transferring things over to a personal Gmail account, here's how to set up your mobile phone, on and on and on and on. So they'll all be there. So if we have like multiple PLC files sitting around, documentation on how to move them over. So, and like I said, you're early adopters, so you don't know for sure exactly how it will all work. But we have the case theory. So thanks for everybody who